Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the B2Match online event, Innovating Rail through International Collaboration. It's organised in association with Enterprise Europe Network at the Cork Chamber of Commerce, Innovate UK, Rail Forum, and ERCI, the European Rail Clusters Initiative. My name is Ian Evley. I'm from Innovate UK, and I'll be the moderator for today's event. So the structure of this event should be an hour and 15 minutes of webinar. You'll hear from a number of different speakers who are subject matter experts in their own field. We'll then have a section of B2B virtual meetings on your B2B match profile. The goal of the event is to encourage cross-border collaboration. We have visitors from the UK, across Europe, and also some from the wider world who've joined us. So welcome to everyone. You have until Friday afternoon to schedule your B2B meetings. So I would encourage you to review the registration list on your B2Match profile and make use of this unique opportunity. Just to kick off with some housekeeping, if you could please ensure that you keep your mics off during the webinar. Once the presentations are complete, we will be undertaking a Q&A session with all of the presenters, and I will be moderating the questions that are put into the chat to then pose them to the presenters at the end of the session. And we will try and get through as many as possible within the timeline. So in terms of today, I hope that you have a meaningful and fruitful engagement with potential partners and collaborators as a result of this webinar. And to kick off, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Gareth Evans. So Gareth is the head of rail technology at Network Rail, and he will discuss how Network Rail supports collaborative innovators by addressing key challenges such as decarbonisation. Thank you, Gareth.
Good morning, and thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here today to introduce you to Network Rail's involvement in collaboration internationally. So sharing my screen. Okay, let's. So in case any of you aren't aware of Network Rail's role in the railway, we manage the mainline rail infrastructure in Great Britain. So 20,000 miles of track, plenty of bridges and tunnels, and we look after the largest 20 stations as well. And our vision is to be simpler, better and greener for all of our stakeholders. So simpler for our passengers and customers to use, better in terms of better value for taxpayers and our funders, and greener as part of our key role in the decarbonisation and net zero agenda and encouraging modal shifts to rail. And our purpose is to get people and goods where they need to be in Great Britain to support the economic prosperity of our nation. And you can see at the bottom there, kind of we support a large volume of passenger journeys and delivery of a high volume of freight, high value of freight around Great Britain. So how do we currently support innovation and collaboration with innovators? Well, on the left here, we have defined a series of challenges and priorities across our business as part of our planning for the current 5-year funding cycle we're in, our research, development, innovation challenges and priorities. We aim to share those outside of Network Rail, taking the top bar on this slide. So we've published challenge statements on our website, and if you look at networkrail.co.uk and find the research and innovation section, all those challenge statements are available to look at in more detail. We attend events like this one, and it's really none of our requirements are a secret. We're doing more and more to open our doors to ideas, to partners, and to look at ways of collaborating across the world to make sure we achieve some of our strategic objectives. There are some fantastic documents already published in the UK. For example, the Rail Technical Strategy is a cross-industry vision for railways in Great Britain up to 2040. A commitment from all the key stakeholders that make the Great Britain Railway tick to deliver that vision with clear articulation of our goals and objectives, the stepping stones over the next 5 to 8 years that the industry thinks it needs to achieve. And that's a great way of steering the conversation around how we partner and collaborate. So if you haven't read it yet, I encourage you to read it. Again, it's got its own website, open to everybody to look at, and it's been refreshed recently as well. So it's really bang up to date. And then we've got our environmental and sustainability strategy, which has been published for about the last 4 years now. And again, that's got some really clear roadmaps on the direction Network Rail is going to take to decarbonise our assets and our operations, to improve the biodiversity of our network, and to essentially make sure rail stays a green mode of transport and has the minimum impact possible on our planet. We do a lot of work already with partners around the UK and internationally. So through working with organisations like Innovate UK, Ukraine, the Connected Places Catapult, Rail Forum, Rail Supply Group and RIA as a kind of key supply chain membership partners, we're already looking at how we can open our research agenda to a range of partners and work on those common challenges. And then internationally, we are members of the UIC. We engage in collaborative research with UIC members. So that could be one potential opportunity for us to connect up with all of you on the call today. We're, as you'd expect, sort of involved in specifying Framework Programme 10, which is Europe's multi-sector, multi-year research and development programme. Innovate UK have also allowed us to start engaging more globally with their collaborative research opportunities, and we're currently looking at an opportunity to collaborate with German partners on AI competition that Innovate UK are running. And then we have our own international R&D partnerships team, and we've signed memoranda of understanding with Swiss Railways, with Bane NOR in Norway, with ProRail, with Trafikverket, with the Korean Rail Research Institute further afield, and we're about to sign one with Canadian National Railways. So we are really active in this space, and we'd really like to kind of hear from members on the call today as to how we might further that collaboration. And just specifically talking about SMEs, Network Rail published an SME action plan in 2019. We were challenged by government to make sure we were procuring 33% by value of our annual expenditure with SMEs by 2022. We missed that by a year. We hit that target last year. So we're investing about £1.3 billion of our expenditure directly with SMEs in the UK and further afield. And then we've just published our Control Period 7 SME strategy. And that has some really useful pointers in it for engaging with a huge organisation like Network Rail. For example, we advertise all of our tenders on the UK government Find a Tender service, which any member of the supply chain is able to sign up to. Registering with our Bravo NR portal also gives visibility of up and coming tenders and allows our supply chain to plan ahead and look at where those opportunities align with your objectives as businesses. And there is an email address that I'll circulate afterwards via the organisers of this call, which would allow you to put any queries you have about all of our activity in procuring with SMEs to our route services procurement team, and again, hopefully allow you to navigate through what I'm well aware of can appear to be some quite involved processes, should we say, engaging with a big business like Network Rail. But we're trying to make things simpler and more straightforward, and I hope that's good news. So for the remaining couple of minutes I've got, I'll talk a little bit about our challenges. So what does our current 5-year plan look like? Here's the summary on a page. So we've got a large amount of money invested by UK government and by UK taxpayers in the GB mainline railway, about £45 billion of investment over 5 years. And it breaks down roughly as I've shown on screen here. So the majority of that, as you'd expect, in our core renewals and maintenance activity with our infrastructure. And wrapped up within that, we've also got about £146 million of research, development, innovation investment. And here's where we're looking to kind of partner and collaborate more effectively to leverage that investment to get more value from every pound we invest in research and innovation, and also to enable us to get better at deploying new technology, adopting new technology around our routes and regions, so that they can start to deliver some of the outputs that government have set us on the right-hand side of this slide. So improvements in safety, a significant efficiency target. So we've got to make our railway more cost effective over the life of this funding cycle. You can see there's some decarbonisation targets. So 21% reduction in our scope 1 and 2 emissions by the end of the control period in April 2029. Improving our net biodiversity and increasing the ton kilometres of freight that we carry on the railway. And actually, more broadly, government in the UK has set a target of a 75% increase in the ton kilometres of freight transported on railway by 2050, which is still, it sounds ambitious, but actually overall it would still mean rail is a minority share in freight goods movement around the UK compared to other modes of transport. And a current challenge for us, as we may all have experienced, we've got to keep focus on running a reliable railway. So more trains on time at more stations along their journey from A to B, whilst managing our service affecting failures as well, as a reliable asset gives a reliable railway. So that's sort of a summary of what's in our Control Period 7 delivery plan and strategic business plan. Again, if you haven't read those, I'd encourage you to read them. They're all publicly available documents through our website, and it will give you a really clear picture of kind of the key drivers for Network Rail, what we're aiming to achieve over the next 5 years, and what might be something that's on the agenda beyond that 5-year cycle. Talking to our routes and regions, as I've done a lot in the last 18 months, these are their 4 priorities. So we've got a railway that we're experiencing the effects of climate change today, whether that be hot weather, whether that be extreme rainfall. And so they're looking for solutions that can help them manage weather resilience. We're also looking at ways to improve the safety of our workforce under this tagline of boots off ballast. So how do we enable people to collect the data about the condition and performance of our assets in a more safer way, but also improving their decision-making ability on where to intervene. That connects with the priority on the right about better asset knowledge. And this isn't necessarily about collecting more data. We collect huge amounts of data. So it's using the data we've got better and then delivering within our CP7 budget. I've included some more of our priority challenges in the slide deck. I'm not going to touch on them now, but hopefully they'll be circulated to you afterwards. And if you've got any questions about the extra level of detail I've included here, please do get in touch with me. I'm happy to share a bit more. But I think that's me done for now. Thank you. I'll hand back over to you, Ian.
Super. Thank you, Gareth. That was really informative. Much appreciated. So now I would like to introduce to you Dan Piner. So Dan is the Senior Design and Innovation Manager at South Western Railway, and SWR support innovation in their passenger rail operations, as well as considering key challenges within the sector. So over to you, Dan.
Thanks, Ian. That's great. Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. So today I will present to you from South Western Railway. As Ian says, I'm the Senior Design and Innovation Manager here. So presenting to you about our approach to collaboration in innovation. I just wanted to give a very brief background about myself first, because I think it sits quite well with the theme of today's webinar. And firstly, just to say that I've been involved in international rail collaboration for quite a few years now. So about 12, 13 years ago, I was working at the Transport Strategy Centre at Imperial College London, which does a lot of benchmarking across different rail operators around the globe. and metro operators as well. And that's where I first got a sort of a passion for international collaboration, and working with each other, sharing best practices, etc. More recently, I previously worked at Innovate UK, and helped to fund some of the rail innovation competitions there and manage those programs, including the First of a Kind program. And then currently, as I mentioned at the start, I now work at South Western Railway leading the innovation program here. So I'm really keen on collaboration, really keen on learning from others. And I think it's imperative to sort of look outside our own small bubbles, or relatively small bubbles, and think about how we can learn from others. And that's what I just kind of wanted to draw out on this slide as well, is to say that actually we do need collaboration. It's really important to the way that we work, both on a day-to-day basis, but also in the bigger picture and looking into the future, because it helps us to increase the breadth and depth of the ideas that we have and the technology that we're bringing into the organization and the industry, and the different products and processes that we introduce as well. And there's a huge amount we can learn from our international peers. We might all be operating in slightly different contexts. South Western Railway is very different from Japanese railways. We're very different from Sydney Metro. We're very different even from LNER and Greater Anglia, but there's still a huge amount we can learn from those different operators. And that's really important. And one of the reasons for that is that it helps to drive efficiencies in what we're doing and prevents unknown duplication. So it might be that we have a piece of work that we want to do, and we know that LNER are doing something similar, and therefore it's really important we're learning and sharing with each other what that work is, and how we can prevent duplication in what we're doing to create cost efficiencies. I just wanted to mention a sort of a real life example of that. In that we're currently working with a number of international rail operators to look at how we collect live occupancy information on board our trains. So when you get to the station, you might look up at the customer information screen, or you might look at your app on your phone, and you can see where there are seats available on the train that's about to arrive at that platform. There's quite a few different ways you can do that, be it through either ticket reservations or camera-based system or automatic passenger counting at the doors. And so it's really important that we share these different ways with other operators to see actually what's the most optimal way of doing this, and how do we want to do it going forwards as well. And then why do we want to innovate? So one of our remits from the Department for Transport here in the UK is to ensure that we're a good and efficient operator. But to be able to do this, we need to be cost efficient in the way that we operate. And we also need to be able to continue to deliver improvements for our customer, i.e. the passenger. So if we don't innovate, then we're not able to do that. And I think it's really important to say if we don't innovate, we are standing still. And if we're standing still, then we're going to get left behind. I'm thinking a lot in my job as well about other industries. So it's important to feel what the customer feels. And if the customer is using Amazon and Uber and all of these other quite innovative organizations, and they're getting real-time updates about how far that Uber is from their house in minutes, and they can see the map, or they know that they're 3 stops away from getting an Amazon delivery, or whatever it might be, that customer will expect that same level of information and knowledge about their rail journey as well. And we want to be able to deliver that. And then finally, on this slide, I just put a little quote from our current Transport Secretary in the UK, Louise Hay, who said that our purpose is simple: move fast and fix things. And I think that's a really nice remit under this new Labour government for us to go out and innovate, think about how we can fix things, how we can do it quickly, and not be afraid to try new things. So what do we need to innovate, and how do we need the supply chain to help with that? So we have 7 key drivers of customer satisfaction that we've identified, and I've listed those on this slide here. So firstly, performance, as Gareth touched upon or spoke about in his slide. Punctuality is absolutely key, getting our trains and our customers from A to B on time. And that's our biggest driver of customer satisfaction. The others on this slide aren't necessarily in order, but I will continue to run through them. Customer information is really important as well, particularly during disruption. But so that customers know what is if something does go wrong, what options do they have, be that an alternative route or waiting for the next train, or why the train is delayed, etc. as well, and how we share that information with our customers, the source of that information, and the speed at which we can get it to them is all really important. Station environment is a big one. We know that all of our customers either, well, both start and end their journeys in one of our stations or in a station operated or managed by either Network Rail or another UK operator. So it's really important that we give them a good impression both at the start and at the end of their journey, because otherwise it can affect their overall customer satisfaction of their journey experience. So we want our stations to feel fresh, clean, up to date, maybe have some facilities that they might need, be that sort of toilets or shopping, etc., as whatever might be appropriate for the size of the station and the location that they're in. Similar with on-train environment as well. We want our we know that our customers can feel a bit frustrated about the temperature on board, cleanliness, litter, all of these sort of things as well. Etching of the windows, graffiti, and so this is all quite important in the on-train environment space, and all of things challenges that we need to overcome within that. And a link into that is seat comfort and space on board. That's both in terms of the customers themselves, but also any luggage or prams that they might have, and also the comfort of the seat. We have our longest journey, 3.5 hours from London Waterloo down to Exeter. So we want to make sure that those seats are comfortable, and that our customers don't come off sort of struggling to walk where they've been sat down for that long on a seat which they're barely able to stand out from. Guard visibility. So we have guards on all of our services at South Western Railway, and it's really important for us that customers know they are there and they can speak to them if they need help or information. So that's another challenge that we have at the moment, making sure our guards are visible and are seen and are available for our customers. And then finally, something that we have currently on a bit of an upward trend is Wi-Fi. So we know that this is improving for our customers, but it's a really big and important area for us. I think post-COVID as well, it's really important that our customers can be productive on our trains, and so we want to offer good Wi-Fi to enable that. So that's the main challenge statements that we have at the moment, and where we're looking for help from the supply chain to try and address those. So I just wanted to mention how you might be able to help in doing that. So there's good potential for us to work together through either direct funding. So we do have an innovation budget available, and we're happy to talk about how we might be able to use that to work with suppliers. Also potential to partner and apply for innovation funding through other organisations and agencies such as Connected Places Catapult and Innovate UK. And as I mentioned at the start, I've got quite a good experience of being on the other side of those programmes. So it's something I'm really interested in. Opportunities to present or pitch to a wider TOC innovation community. So I currently chair a group of innovation leads from across the UK rail industry who have similar but some different challenges as well. And we're always interested in hearing from new suppliers, and we have some opportunities through the year to come and speak to us and pitch to us. And finally, I just say, yeah, I welcome any messages either through the B2B platform on here or via LinkedIn, and I've put a QR code to my link directly to my LinkedIn page as well. So please do feel free to connect. And sometimes it takes me a little while to respond, but I'll do my best to do so when I get a chance to. So that's it from me.
Thank you, Dan. Very, very insightful. Much appreciated. So just one point in terms of moderation of the Q&A is nobody's broken cover yet and put a question in the Q&A. I can't believe that nobody has a question. So please overcome your shyness and let's have some questions in the Q&A so we can get some more insight. from our speakers in the final session. So with 2 speakers down, 3 to go. I would now like to introduce to you AJ Cronin. AJ is the delivery manager of Irish Rail, and he will be discussing how innovation can drive and support modern infrastructure programs. So over to you, AJ.
Morning, everybody. And, thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you. I'm going to talk about driving rail innovation through collaboration and sustainability. And I thought it might be best to actually look at a real live example. So I'm going to talk to you about what we're doing in our second city in Cork, in the south of Ireland. Maybe just a little bit of background of this. This is relates to the Cork Metropolitan Area Transport Strategy, which is providing for an integrated public transport network for Cork. CMAT aims to support compact urban growth by facilitating modal shift out of the private car and onto public transport. And rail, bus and active travel have had a low percentage in terms of the modal shift. So we're looking to make a transformation and really significantly change that in the coming years up to 2040. A very significant central component of that is the heavy rail network in Cork. We have three main routes, and I'll show you those in a second. But the core of those existing routes would provide a transformative 10-minute frequency from the current 30-minute frequency. In terms of the policy drivers, the population of Cork City is expected to grow by 50 to 60% by 2040. So significant growth in both population and employment in the Cork metropolitan area. And CMAT was expected to support the delivery of that additional growth and the demand that would come from it. CMAT is also aligns with the national, regional and the local policies and development plans. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that in a moment. Just give you an overview of the rail programme, because effectively the rail programme is the core element of what will drive the growth in the Cork area, support the growth targets of the Cork area, and also significantly support the climate goals set by the Cork City. The existing network in Cork today operates between Mallow, Cork, Kent Station, Cove and Middleton. So three key routes. There are also regional services to Kerry and hourly services on our Cork-Dublin route. We operate currently with diesel multiple units on commuter routes in Cork. The future network expected to deliver a transformative 10-minute service frequency, adding 8 new stations to the existing 10, delivering a new electric fleet and new signalling, new depot and electrification across the network, and providing for multimodal integrated transport hub at the main station in Kent Station in Cork. So how are we funding this programme? It's divided out between some EU funding through the Recovery and Resilience Fund, the capacity projects through platform signalling and twin tracking are funded through the EU, and the remaining projects in the programme are funded through the National Development Plan in government in Ireland. This I'll share with you later, but effectively the programme is well underway and it has accelerated in terms of the first 3 capacity projects through platform, the Glounthaune Middleton Twin Track project and the signalling and comms project are well truly in construction. The platform will be completed this year and the other 2 by the end of 2026, and we're advancing to statutory approval stage for the rest of the programme as well. So very significant acceleration of the heavy rail proposals. Why are we doing this? And part of this is that Cork is participating as one of the 100 cities in Europe for the EU Mission City. And we're also very much innovating and collaborating with Cork City and the main stakeholders in the Cork area to meet those targets and to drive those targets, drive the change that will successfully lead to those targets being met. And we spent quite a lot of time engaged with our stakeholders and with the city in developing the strategy, ensuring that there is significant leadership brought to the group, so that we can actively participate in the engagement with the community and with the city in driving the change. In terms of the practices, sustainability is driven from our so the Climate Action Plan sets out a detailed roadmap to achieve a 51% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 and achieve net zero emissions by no later than 2050. And the Climate Action Plan was originally published in November 2021, and since then has been updated annually. The Climate Action Plan outlines how the growing demand for transport must be met in a sustainable manner by prioritising new public transport schemes like the Cork Area Commuter Rail Programme, other road projects as well. IE is set to be the backbone of the public transport network that prioritises sustainable mobility for citizens, visitors, communities, and to raise the quality of life, reducing environmental impacts and improving climate change resilience. And falling from that national and organisational strategies is our own Cork Area Commuter Rail Programme sustainability strategy. And the aim of this sustainability strategy is to define the sustainability teams and describe the commitments, targets and actions needed to deliver those during design, construction, operation of the Cork Area Commuter Rail Programme. So just a little bit maybe on sustainability in Cork and our programme. Our sustainability strategy developed in August 2023. It incorporates 9 core themes and 28 measurable targets, each contributing to our overarching goal of reducing the environmental impact of our operations while fostering collaboration and social responsibility. Sustainability implementation plan has been developed to support the delivery of the sustainability strategy. The SIP enables the team to track the sustainability opportunities and performance of the programme throughout the design, construction, operation, and support, with evidencing progress towards the delivery of the targets. We are collaborating with contractors that include initiatives including electric vehicles, battery storage, solar powered site offices, school engagement programs, and so on. And we're now building the sustainability criteria into all our tenders. So some of this innovative solutions are being driven by the overall Rail 2050 strategy and decarbonising the national network. We just had published the All-Ireland Strategic Rail Review in July this year from government, setting out the sort of priorities and key projects to deliver this transformation of the rail network up to 2050. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the current network in Ireland, and on the right-hand side, the future network as proposed in the Strategic Rail Review. And key to those are, dealing with bottlenecks in the network, and quite a number of double-track projects are proposed, and decarbonising the network, both infrastructure and fleet. I'll talk a little bit about electric fleet, just to give you a flavour. We currently have a 10-year framework agreement with Alstom for 750 battery electric or electric vehicles in 5-car and 10-car units. And the first of those units is starting to arrive in Ireland. Just in the last 3 weeks, we had the very first unit land in Ireland. So that will provide for significant change in the fleet capacity, but also decarbonising the fleet. Currently, most of the fleet is diesel multiple units. I mentioned a little bit about BEMU and static charging, and we are introducing static charging in Drogheda as part of our network to provide for battery electric trains, and we're also working through that as part of the Cork Area Commuter Rail programmes to determine which fleet traction option we'll use for the Cork area, whether it be a full battery electric option or a hybrid or electric option. So in conclusion, I just wanted to give you a summary maybe of the presentation, and we're playing a pivotal role as the Irish Rail railway provider and network, and just to give you an understanding or a better understanding of the railways in Ireland. Irish Rail is an integrated railway, so the maintainer, the operator, and the capital investment program are all within the one organisation with the one CEO. We're working on enabling sustainable public transport options and effectively starting the transformation of rail in Ireland. A very significant pipeline of projects that will continue over the next 20 years. And key to this is collaboration with the marketplace, with suppliers, key suppliers, and building relationships and partnerships, long-term partnerships to support the delivery of the programme. We can't do this on our own. We will need the support of the marketplace, of key suppliers, contractors and consultants to support us to deliver it. By adopting innovative approaches, it supports Cork's ambitious targets for population growth, reduced congestion and enhanced regional connectivity. So significantly in the Cork area, we have to partner with our stakeholders in the Cork area to deliver those targets. They can't be delivered singularly on their own. They have to be done as part of a collaboration among all the stakeholders in the city and county. And our programme is critical to helping Cork to achieve those goals, particularly the EU Mission City, driving progress towards climate neutrality in 2030. That's my presentation. Very much. Back to you, Ian.
Thank you, AJ. Some super stuff in there, some real food for thought, which we will come back to during the Q&A session. So now I would like to invite to the virtual stage Kat Appleby. Kat is the Membership and Engagement Director at Rail Forum, outlining the innovation support offered to members and how she works with colleagues within the European Rail Clusters Initiative. Thank you, Kat.
Thanks, Ian. No slides from me. I just want to canter through some of that support and really get you thinking about some questions to ask. So the Rail Forum is a trade body for rail with just under 400 members nationally. Innovation, as you might expect, is a major support activity, and I want to outline that support as well as tie in some key questions for your consideration. So I'm going to start with, right at the start, having an idea. So something clicks and that brilliant rail innovation is born. Often that is generated through need, understanding customers and seizing opportunity. And by bringing together industry in our subsector and innovation-specific events, we can create more shared understanding and thus stimulate more ideas. So question for operators, so Dan, as we heard from earlier, how can we support you to communicate your requirements better? And the question for innovators, what information do you need? Letting us know this will mean that we can curate better events that will continue to meet your requirements. So moving on that innovation journey, let's start sense checking the idea. So not every idea will go the distance, unfortunately. Talking it through with collaborators, customers and partners will help you to determine its validity and value. And working with colleagues like Ian at Innovate UK, we're able to bring diagnostic guidance and specialist support to our members. For innovators, talking it through is a huge step, and of course it needs to be done carefully. Protecting your idea is key, and we have members that can support with the legalities and intellectual property. So question here is, how do we find those key partners? And let's face it, utilising your existing network is an obvious starting point, but speaking to your Rail Forum account manager will help you access the whole membership and beyond to build your trusted partners. So moving on again, let's look a little bit at prototyping or testing that idea. And getting it off paper and into reality really requires a lot of energy, time, perseverance, and of course, money. And we help members with introductions, referrals, access to funding and signposting, not just within the UK, but of course, utilising our membership with ERCI to foster greater connections. And today's event is a great example of that. Our ERCI activities are broad, from webinars to joint missions and awards, and Dirk will outline much more of this in his presentation. So my question here is, how can you utilise the connectivity of your trade association and other partners to support your innovation? Because there's certainly a lot more that innovators can draw from those resources that they have around them already. On to demonstrating, and for the rail industry, this is key. We hold special testing innovation events, and we bring together industry partners that can help collate and deliver that valuable data to demonstrate your ideas. Testing locations and facilities, specialist guidance, and of course, access to product approvals and RSSB. And in fact, later this month, our members will have the opportunity to hear more about the future roadmap to testing and validation. We also run challenges, which we've already covered lots of different industry angles and provide a willing customer who has both need and desire to innovate. So my question here is, what further support is needed for that demonstrator stage? And how can industry stakeholders work to remove those barriers? And we really welcome your thoughts and sharing your experiences about how you've gone through that innovation journey will be absolutely key. Promoting. So lastly, when that idea has been through all manner of different processes and it's ready to launch, we really help our members through a fully inclusive promotional support offer. So that's news, that's events, it's brochures. But for innovators, it's not just about promotion, it's about targeting your communications to the decision makers and influencers. So making use of the support here will be key. My question is, how can you effectively communicate your innovation to the right audience? Does that cover those influencers, the users of the innovation, the beneficiaries of the innovation, and of course, those that will pay for the innovation? Because certainly in the UK, that's not the same person. So rounding up, what's clear to me is that whilst innovation in rail starts with an idea, it takes an industry to drive this to reality, and it's essential that we continue to embrace and support innovation in every way possible. And the Rail Forum very much looks forward to bringing together the industry to truly unleash the potential of rail. Thank you, Ian.
Wow, thanks, Kat. There's an awful lot of food for thought in there, and probably more questions than answers, but that really does open the floor again to the Q&A session, and let's try and answer some of these big challenges. But it certainly it really resonates with me, that innovation journey and understanding how the different elements within that innovation ecosystem around opportunity, challenge, that then results in adoption and diffusion of innovation can be connected more effectively. So that was really insightful. Thank you, Kat, much appreciated. Okay, so we are heading towards our last speaker, and I would like to introduce to you Dirk Ulrich Kruger, who is the Managing Director of the Rail S Cluster and the President of the European Rail Clusters Initiative. So Dirk will provide an outline on how the ERCI is supporting cross-border innovation. Thank you, Dirk.
Yeah, many thanks, Ian. Yeah, and thanks for having me here. I'm presenting to you the ERCI, the European Railway Clusters Initiative. I just have 3 slides, and the first is who we are, second, what we do, and third, most importantly, maybe how you can benefit from the ERCI. So ERCI is a network of clusters, and maybe first of all, important to understand what do clusters do for you and the innovation and essentially in the business development process, because innovation as such has an innovative and new invention part, but it's also about implementing something in the market and turning it into a business case. This is as important as the invention itself, because this is the way it will reach society and society can benefit through the market. And clusters try to improve this, try to catalyze more information, be a catalyst in that process. Essentially, we want to increase the frequency in that you meet the right people, and also be a bit selective topic-wise, so you can actually benefit from meeting really the right people at the right topic at the right time. Because business and innovation is all about relationships, it's all about human interaction. This is how we all work. And ERCI is a group of such clusters, and we try to do the same at a European level, because we believe if cluster managers from different areas all across Europe know each other well, trust each other, it will be easier for our member companies, for the universities, research institutions to follow us on that path and to establish cross-border boundaries. So this is how the idea developed many years ago. Actually, in 2008, the first clusters met, and then eventually 5 clusters founded the ERCI in 2010. Initially as a network, but today, for 2 or 3 years now, we are also a legal entity. We are a non-profit association registered in Belgium. We still are a very lean organization, so we have an office in Brussels, but this is a very small office, so we have not a huge overhead or a huge staff base there. Today we are 18 railway clusters from many important railway markets all over Europe. Essentially, what is blue here is our outreach. We're still missing a number of countries and markets, and trying to expand that network beyond our borders that we have now. But it is already a very powerful network. Together, we have an outreach to over 3,000 entities all over the continent. Many of them SMEs, but also, of course, the big operators, the OEMs are in the network, and the universities and research institutions as well. It is important to note that we will, you cannot be a member directly in the ERCI. Everything that you can benefit from runs through your local cluster organization. There's no extra membership fee or something. You are a member of one of the local railway clusters in Europe. If you're in the UK, in the Rail Forum, the BRIC, or the Rail Cluster Scotland, you're automatically in for ERCI. So what do? We try to give visibility to the rail supply chain and to the innovation ecosystem. But essentially, this comes down to what I said initially. We try to connect people, we try to connect ideas, and we try to provide a platform to build trust and relationships, out of which innovation projects and then business can arise. So in that process, there's of course a lot of topics to be cared about. We need to collaborate, of course, also with European institutions and stakeholders at the European level, because this is where the policies are set, where the regulations are made, and also where funding is provided. So it's important to have a voice there, lobbying. What we try to be a platform or a leverage to enable research development projects, innovation projects across borders. If you want to participate in EU projects, you always need to have minimum 3 partners from 3 countries, and there we come into play. It's important to build trust prior to that, to build relationships, to know the right people. in order to form a consortia for a project. How we do this, I will tell in a minute. We try to optimize also access to funding possibilities at regional levels and also at binational levels. Sometimes there are binational programs running between different countries. At the moment we have that between UK and Germany, for instance. So it is always good to have one contact point, again, to find the right partners, and this is what we provide through ERCI. We also want to do more in terms of internationalization beyond Europe, but also in Europe. Rail industry is still very segregated into national markets for many, many historical reasons. And compared to other industries, the railway industry also can or has more potential to integrate on the European level in the years to come. And also we do have a lot of competence in rail technology in Europe. This makes it attractive to look at markets outside of Europe, and we can do that more easy on the European level. Yeah, finally, it's all about communication as well. We want to be a platform, of course, also for marketing innovations. This is what we typically do through our innovation awards. So how can you participate, how can you benefit from ERCI? First of all, you can present your solutions to an international audience in our ERCI webinars. We do have every 2 months or so a pan-European webinar that focuses on different technological aspects. The next will be, I think, on 27th of November on the circular economy in the rail industry. So we have presentations from 1, 2, 3 companies that will present a solution product to the audience, which is generally brought all across Europe. What is also a very important platform, there's no topic on the bullet on that here, is our annual innovation award that works like the European Song Contest. So all of our clusters have a selection process, a national or regional innovation award, and the best 3 nominees or the best 3 candidates out of this national or regional contest can be delegated to European level, where we select every year 3 winners: the best SME award, the best large enterprise, and the jury's favorite, the coup de cœur. So this is a very interesting platform, very interesting communication method to be used if you want to get higher visibility for your product or service. Also, you can participate in bi- or trilateral B2B events between ERCI clusters. There's some in the audience here today that participated, for instance, in the cluster visit to Rail S, to my regional cluster last year. So there are many of these activities taking place within ERCI. You can use the ERCI network through your local cluster manager if you're really looking for a very special business contact in another region. It works very quickly and effectively because we know each other, give each other a call, and we then would look for appropriate members within in our given networks. Also, you can use other clusters, events, or other measures and offerings at their membership conditions if you're a member in one of the ERCI clusters. What is planned and to come next year is our ERCI missions and trade show visits outside of Europe. We're at the moment planning ahead on a show visit in the United States at the Railway Interchange in May 2025. And also we're planning a mission to Canada, a European mission to Canada, maybe end of 25, early 26, not yet decided. But these are things that are new, that we believe there's a sweet spot, if you like, for a joint mission. And finally, also next year to come, will be organized cluster visits to other regions in Europe. The first one will probably be Belgium, where one cluster will invite a European group of companies to visit their region. And of course, a very nice side effect of every mission and delegation that you do are the connections you make within that delegation. And on a European platform, we think we can offer you many new exciting business contacts there. So that's in short a presentation of ERCI. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And also here you see my vice president from the Italian cluster, Veronica. And if you have any questions, please get back to us. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Dirk, for that. That concludes our speakers for today, but brings us to the Q&A section of the webinar. So thank you for populating the chat section with a number of questions. We have the speakers joining the virtual platform with me now. And just to lead in, I'd like to summarize just some of the things that I've heard today as key takeaways. From Gareth at Network Rail, delivering a simpler, better and a greener railway. From Dan at South Western Railway, to learn from others and to deliver against customer expectations. From AJ at Irish Rail, the importance of sustainability and investment for the future. From Kat at Rail Forum, a load of open questions really around innovation, but for posing to innovators and to operators. And the core theme there being, what do you need? What are your challenges? And if we can identify those, we have a chance of overcoming them. And to use the connectivity of your trade association as well. And then from Dirk, in terms of that trade association piece, the importance of human interactions, that people plus ideas within the innovation space, creates trust and relationships that then gives us an opportunity to address a lot of the challenges that have been posed today. And the question then about visibility of that rail supply chain. We do have an incredibly strong rail supply chain within the UK and within Europe. So how do we really leverage that supply chain to benefit the industry and the players within it? So that's just a bit of a summary. I think some of the key themes that I've taken away was around collaboration and partnerships, that we really can't do this on our own. We must move faster, we must fix things. We have an opportunity for multimodal integration that we're probably not utilising at the moment. And all that within the context of sustainability and net zero. Very much the overriding theme, how can we access more resources? How can we get more users onto the railway, both in terms of passenger and freight? So I'd like to bring the webinar to a close. Just to mention that the event was organised by Enterprise Europe Network at Cork Chamber of Commerce, Innovate UK, Rail Forum and the European Rail Clusters Initiative. I'd like to thank all of our speakers and partners who made this event possible. Just to remind our delegates, our audience, that the B2B meetings commence at midday. So please log off this call and log on to your B2Match profile to begin your meetings, or alternatively browse the attendance list to schedule more meetings, or even both would be great. And again, as I mentioned at the start, you've got the rest of today and also until Friday to schedule some meetings. I hope you found this an interesting discussion and a great use of your time. I think it's a great opportunity to find cross-border collaborative partners. That is the theme of this webinar, and most definitely has been the theme of the discussion and the presentations all the way through. So it's within our gift to find a way to make things happen. Let's use it. And I'd like to wish you happy networking, and thank you very much for attending.